Well, Dean, the resurgence of JO in the second half for Nemiga on the previous map wasn't enough to bring it across the line as Gambit youngsters took Dust 2. Here we are on Mirage, where things are about to roll on forward in what I feel like is going to be one of the tightest matches we've seen so far. Two great maps, and starting it out on the final puggy one to finish it off, the CIS matchup. Two teams that have been outperforming expectations recently. And the bomb already being planted in a 5v5 on the A site.
Yeah, not the most common of setups, especially now with Gambit youngsters having one player already dinked down, losing the jungle control as well. This is going to be a very difficult retake. You see most of their players focus towards the CT spawn. I'm pretty sure he could actually spot the back of one of the players right there. No kills as of yet. Eventually that CT push will come in with a flash alongside of it in return from Nemiga. It gave Box a good chance. He wasn't actually able to get that kill somehow, but eventually we will see Nemiga just sweeping up 3 kills in their favor. A 4th there found by JO to go ahead and leave it all on Axile and display a really nice tap there on Lollipop. With the bomb already taken away, there is no chance anymore, unfortunately. He's looking for the kills to see if he can maybe add a bit of money to the bank, perhaps even stay alive. Saving over the Kevlar, always a nice little bonus if you can't win the round anyways. But there it is, Nemiga. They get the opening round here on the T side of Mirage. And again, by how T-sided this series has been so far, it is a little bit worrying for sure for Gambit youngsters. But they're going to be coming in with the force play, and we know they're capable with these Deagles. And with a FAMAS as well. I figured we'd have a scout, but no, able to afford a FAMAS there for Axile. The positive, of course, of actually being able to save over the Kevlar.
Well, as Nemiga roll in with their 1-0. It's a good start, but we always say that second round is going to be difficult because of the force buy that comes through now with the current economy system. This is what we work with. The mollies already going out towards up and above, down below wood. Clear that angle out, and they quickly deal with Supra on the site to open A for another bomb plant. Gambit youngsters having to go in for that retake. I wouldn't mind them even just playing exits at this point, especially being smoked out, and perhaps not even by the looks of it. They're looking to hard save, not even playing for exits to grab themselves a rifle, which I can understand on Axile and perhaps Nafni as well, but Inters could afford to. That said, I'm not particularly upset about the decision making. It has been very much on point from Gambit youngsters so far this series. They haven't played overly aggressive, especially on their CT sides, which is why we've seen them lose so many. You know, no one's ever really going in for any big clutches. It's always just playing the stats game and looking to bring it forward as much as possible. Keep your chances of winning future rounds up if the chances of this one ain't looking too good.
Yeah, I mean, we say that pretty much every time when a team on a force buy in the second round is put into the position where they have to save, that it really is usually the best option. Even if it's not giving you a great chance to win the next round, since you only have maybe a few players who actually saved over. Gives you the chance for a few kills, keep the economy modest of your opponents, don't let it get out of control early on, which has been an issue so far for Gambit youngsters on all their CT sides. We've seen once they stabilized towards the end of Dust 2 there, that's where they started actually finding success. So ideally making sure you have the best buy possible, and such is how they want to play this one. There's 1 kill from Inters so far. That's a potential weapon to be retrieved. Not going to be moving straight in for, maybe expecting more to come from that direction, and instead just trying to fight up against the ramp and Palace push, and it's not working out. Lollipop has gone ahead and denied it. Taken down low, so I mean there's a chance of 1 more kill potentially to be found. I'm sure can do so. That'd definitely be putting Nemiga in a tough spot going into the opening gun round. They'd have to reinvest most of their money for it.
Well, he's going to edge forward towards CT. And JO's in a position to cut him off if he does rotate back to B, or was for a second. Really, Gambit youngsters have to be a little bit worried. They've just been overwhelmed on that A bomb site. A couple of times now, you're seeing the call. Whoopsie daisies. And not much of a chance of winning that fight anymore, really, without the armor. Especially being wall banged in the box. And bye, sure. But having been destroyed on that A site 3 times, and granted the buys were not in their favor twice, but we are still going to be a little bit worried for them moving into the buy round then, because you don't want to just, on your first chance to really answer back in this half, get slapped out, left to 5-0, and be scrambling to try and pull. And actually the pause coming through, and this just further reinforcement of the point that Gambit youngsters want to take this round super seriously. It's not to coordinate the buy. Obviously, they'd already fully purchased up, but it is more so about the location of the players, how they're going to navigate it. Been having a little bit of a chat with them. Been a long time since I've seen the youngsters on Mirage. He's back towards last year, even. I'm curious to see where and how Shiro's going to be playing with this op, especially considering the impact he's had on this series so far has been quite a lot lower than we would typically expect. I don't expect the aggressive opping playstyle we saw before, but maybe that's what he needs to do, right? Is just go in aggressive and try to play his own game. Sure, he wasn't hitting shots the last 2 maps, but if you just give up on your regular playstyle, then things probably don't go too well for you anyways.
True. Yeah, I mean, you need to play how you've practiced it, of course, if you want to be getting those victories. And as you said, I mean, a slow start, but it's only the first gun round now. He's 0-2. He can step up any moment, and this could certainly be the round for him to do so. It's actually Nafany who finds that first blood. An attempted boost up in towards window there to see if they could challenge the control, but being denied pretty much instantly. They do at least have one up in ladder, so it's not really letting Nafany peek out much. Oh, has he been spotted? I don't think so as of yet. Obviously, they know he's around here, but Speedak not going to realize that he is so close to the angle. Instead, focusing his attention back towards short. They still have a minute remaining. Okay, Lollipop actually just going to be able to walk out onto A and find Supra. I was going to say that could take the attention of Nafany, so they did try and capitalize on it. Nafany finding one more at least before he eventually goes down. And also doing some great damage on towards Speedak, making this so difficult. The nades come in. It was actually a second one as well, just in case. We see it wasn't needed, of course, as it's all on Lollipop. He has 1 kill to his name so far. Needs to go ahead and quadruple that. At least in this round, he has 1 kill to his name. No, Shiro's in towards the CT boot still, but he is being watched from short as well if he crosses over. I think Axel could spot it. Apparently not. But already help being sent in towards the spawn as well. And yeah, Axel was actually just holding the angle where he'd spot him crossing over from triple to the CT spawn. I thought he had the one kind of crossing from default to triple at first. 3-1. Gambit youngsters get that first gun round off the back of ensuring that they had the best chances. They called in their pause and everything. But obviously they need to ensure that they can get this one as well, because that was a little bit of a bonus round for Nemiga. They didn't really spend all of their money. They come back into this one. Jo surprisingly has a UMP despite having 4.6k left over. I was going to say that's the only real weakness, but noticing how much money he has, that really wasn't needed.
Great
Nafany
tag.
got tagged as he was jumping out window, yeah.
Yeah, look, they just completely give up on any top mid aggression as well, but Nafany tagged with the nades going down, the flashes, they're out. Nemiga moving in towards the A ramp with a bomb. Quite quickly, but it is just a setup utility as the smokes go over and playing out as a fake to see those quite quickly. Maybe it drags the rotates, and you can see Shiro started to move in towards jungle, but nothing comes out after those smokes. Really, this has to be a faster hit towards B. The UMP up close. Everybody else is back in apps. Jo gets isolated. What was the point?
I don't know. They're looking to still commit in towards B here, but a bit of a warning being given as well alongside that man advantage for Gambit youngsters. Lollipop, though, again manages the frag out. 2 headshots instantly opening up B. Nafany, despite being around this area, being so low on health, he was just chilling back in the kitchen, hoping he'd eventually be able to catch someone with the op. And there we go, he has been given one from Speedak, but still being low himself. Lollipop on 5 health, it's definitely an achievable retake here for them. They have 1 nade left as well that could potentially give them some further damage, maybe even a kill if placed well enough. I mean, Box is also not looking too healthy himself. So here we go, all 3 players beginning to push forward. Not being spotted, I don't believe, there by the peek from short either, so they are given the chance to close in the distance. They may not expect Box up close, though. He hasn't actually shown this as of yet, so this could potentially catch them off guard. Smoke on towards the bomb site, not on the bomb itself. Instead, on default, they still have no idea. Box has the kill on Super. That's denied the defuse, and Nafany, unless he got the kill right now, it's not winnable, and even then, no longer would be even if he had have gotten it for himself. So there it is. Box gets the final kill. Obviously not going to be escaping with how fast the bomb was already ticking at that point. He does go down, but they get the round win. That's the main thing. They pull it back 4-1. They don't let Gambit youngsters get more than just a single round from that first from that first gun round. They don't let them chain anything together. With that, they again just kind of leave the economy in tatters for the CT side, only affording them a few pistols.
Absolute perfection. Losing out the 1 round they did to Gambit youngsters, like you said, they weren't fully bought up. And considering in that strategy right there, they'd heavily telegraphed their play. The smoke's over A, nobody pushes out after them, nothing is being done. 20 seconds later, Jo is just tucked in apps, getting killed by himself. The rest of the team barrels forward. Gambit knew what was happening. They just couldn't do anything about it. The op finds one. They rush in, but there's the AK. He needs to get out. Speedak being tagged. MDS is on his way to help. Jumping out of apps, though. They're so heavily trying to protect the opper and catch the pistols off guard. But in the meantime, they're losing 2 players. And they're going to go B, which opens up more opportunity for Shiro to pick up a rifle towards that A site. But in fact, he's coming through underpass. Looking back towards his teammates. Oh, that is just... That was risky, because he's looking back at an angle which is 100% secure. Just staring at his teammates going, hey, how close are you guys? Are you almost here? We want to get a pizza tonight? And in the meantime, Shiro's almost taken him down 1 second earlier, and that would have been embarrassing.
They should still have the round, so I mean, they should take this time to decide if they want a pizza tonight. Because Inters is just saving. He's not thinking about any food. He's thinking about saving this rifle over and giving them the chance to try and eat in the next round instead. And by that I mean bounce back with another gun round for themselves, because it's already 5 here on the T side for Nemiga. So we need the Gambit youngsters to take it up a notch real soon. How's Shiro doing? Has he started fragging as of yet? No, still down there. 0-0-4. Not the start you want your upper and one of your star players to be having here on the third and final map. The one to decide the victor of the series. Especially on the CT side of Mirage. It's so important to put up at least around 9 rounds. Get the AK at least.
This is concerning, to say the least. Gambit youngsters need to do much, much better than what's currently coming through. The advantage here is that with the fact that they have the AK-47 that drops over if possible, I believe there's an AWP on the floor for Shiro. There is indeed. And so the buy is not going to be terrible. But should they fail to find this one, that's where things get very scary for Gambit. They're going to have to then come back from presumably a 7-1 deficit. Definitely not the easiest thing to do with how Nemiga have been playing so far as well. They give very little access on that T side. Indeed, both teams obviously performing on the attack that little bit better. And as you see early on, those 1-for-1 trades coming through, the A side is still fairly well defended. 3 players around this area, and as Lollipop pushes forward, he's by himself and in severe danger of being caught off. The swing out, but Lollipop wins the duel. And with that, he's throwing a lot of utility, but this looks like it's going to be B late on with Lollipop faking. He's already dragged over the rotate from Shiro. So 2 players on this A bomb site, but he needs to avoid dying.
He's been popping off so far, but as you can see right now, could potentially get caught by that stairs player. Yeah, not expecting Nafani to be there. He was initially focused on connector, but eventually looks over, realizes he has himself a kill, but I mean, wasting a bit of time. The issue is Nemiga begun to move back towards A, thinking that it was clear because Lollipop had pushed so aggressive in before he was actually stopped. MDS, though, finds one coming up through connector. That gives them the opening now, and we actually seen Shiro back away over towards Kitchen, just taking a bit of a gamble there, leaving that connector player alone. And once he goes down, I guess this round is over. The save again is called for. We have seen so many saves in this best of 3 so far.
Yeah, from Gambit especially, like I was saying earlier on, coming into round 2 or 3, that they've been so consistently making that decision to save in the right spots, though. Like, in most games...
Oh, yeah, I don't disagree with any of them. It's just,
yeah.
It just shows how dominant a lot of the T rounds are, especially in terms of openings being found and traded, not given time for rotations, in terms of the CTs not really ever being in spots where they can stay alive and even just waste time to set up for the retake. They're just going down so quickly.
Well, this is it as well, though. When you're a team like Gambit Youngsters that doesn't go in for these retakes, you're in a spot where there's a lot of pressure on your early round to be good. If you're losing opening duels or even getting 1-for-1 traded, this increases the chance that you'll lose the round by much more, because when they're in these, even we've seen 2v2 positions where they go in for the save in the end, if they don't have the money for the next. So in that kind of spot, you need to see dominant early frags, and I think this is what Gambit Youngsters have always been pretty good at doing, is playing aggressive early on the CT side and catching their opponents off. The problem is, when you're playing against fellow CIS men, especially Nemiga with how their T side is stacked up, they're so ready for those aggressive plays to come through. And goodbye, Nafni. Good attempt at saving inside the smoke. He's been tagged from up above, from top mid. They're going to actually just blitz into connector as well. Good smoke on top to allow them access there. And they've got a really nice angle to double hold on short. Gambit youngsters, again, you see those early fights not going their way. They've lost mid control and connector. There's a solo player towards that A side, Axile, who's starting to push up on ramp. And with that, Shiro cautiously rotating around in CT. But a good frag by Axile. The problem is now he's isolated as well. They know where he is.
He's actually managed to escape back towards short again. At this point, only the 2 players coming out of the apartments. That short push is quite delayed. And one trade at least coming in there from the up towards Delpan, being able to catch Axel as he was backing off. So it's back into the 3-on-3. But Inters is just running down a lot of time. He's allowed Shiro now to rotate in as well and set himself up here on the bomb site with the op. And once the smoke clears is really when all the action will kick off, and it is Inters who actually finds that first kill. Not able to live too much longer, to be fair, but not really expecting the op of Shiro either to be on that angle. He's able to get the first kill on Speedak, who was coming up short, and then just re-peeks back in to finish off MDS. A little bit risky, considering if he went down right there, then it would have been super left alone in a one-on-one retake towards B, with just the FAMAS, and I believe at that point, very few nades. But they get the round, they're able to get themselves the second on the board, and with that, they do this time need to actually find some success off the back of it, because if what happened to them previously happens again, where they get that one round and instantly Nemiga return it, yet again, they will be left with a very weak economy. So they can't afford to have that happen. Ideally, they're aiming to try and pull it back up to 9 if possible.
Trying to pull it back up to 9 indeed. Anywhere between a 9-6 scoreline, swinging either way, honestly, you can look good, though. As long as you pick up... If you're the 6, you need to pick up the pistol round when you swap over. But there's more pressure on Nemiga because of their weaker CT side. The Gambit youngsters, so long as they can connect the 6 on the board, things should be alright for them when they swap. Whereas Nemiga, if they're on 6, the next half is so much weaker for them that you do want to see them... at least based on their Dust 2. And their Inferno. Their CT's been weak. I don't know. Things could change on Mirage. Time just being run down here. Much slower round than normal from Nemiga. They've got control towards middle, but it's in large part due to the fact that Gambit youngsters are not challenging. They're not giving up any tools, knowing that's been a big weakness in the past. Look at the push by Nafni, but he doesn't suspect anyone to be in Palace. They think it's going to be a mid through connector, but no idea about Lollipop and Box.
Oh, Supra almost at the angle there for himself to catch one off guard. They do at least have this one player still up close on ramp, so it's not going to make that split as easy as it would be otherwise. And I mean, spotting that one player out ramp, I'm kind of surprised that they didn't rotate one back. I guess presuming that it's just going to be the one lurking in Palace, and again, they were setting themselves up for B. Instead, as we can see, they've gone ahead and pushed their way up through connector and jungle already. Swarming the bomb site, Supra doing what he can around that smoke, but he's not able to do much more than a bit of damage. Instead, it falls to Shiro to try and hold on to the bomb site, and he is able to get 2, but it's not enough in this situation. The equal trades so far continue on in that trend as well, as Nafani does what he can with the FAMAS, actually dropping Box low, but not able to finish him off. So it's all onto Inters. Half health himself now to try and pull off the retake. And as he elevates himself quickly, he does fall down. By that, I mean, he quickly gets shot by a few AK bullets, finishing him off. 7-2. Again, just one single round is nowhere near enough for Gambit youngsters. They need to really pick up the momentum. It's the fact that when they are winning these rounds, they're never able to do so convincingly. It's very similar to what we've seen back on their CT side of Inferno.
We saw the change up in strategy as well with the push into ramp. Nafni, though, they made a read. It just wasn't the right one. He goes through ramp, no one's there, starts to move towards the spawn. Then they spot a player Palace, but he still presumes that it's going to be a fake in Palace with one player coming up through B app, or with the rest of the team around B apps. So he goes through the apartments instead of flanking the mid players and ends up getting caught completely off guard. That is a big shame, because at both turns, had he have went through Palace, had pushed ramp and gone behind Palace, 2 kills. Had he have went behind mid, probably the same kind of outcome, and instead ends up in a spot where he's just late coming through connector, and that position's already known that they could be there. That could be the player coming from B, right? Inters does well with the deagle, but it's really just not enough. 2 kills. It's a clean round for Nemiga, considering the bank they've got built up. Little bomb plant in the end to boost JO's cash. Gambit youngsters, now they're back on a buy again. They tried the aggression through ramp. It did not work out. So now it's time to innovate again. And it's going to be frustrating on your CT side when you are changing it up. You are looking for more openings, but at every turn it seems like your enemies are just slipping through your fingers. You can't get the grasp on what they're doing.
Yeah, as you said, it was so close to that flank being huge, but instead the one position that unfortunately didn't benefit them was where he went towards. Right now we're seeing a bit of a pace increase from the T side, sending one player towards the underpass, I guess, to fake out that they could be just going for the standard mid control. As we've seen, though, they were sending one player up short, the rest of them out through apartments. Actually grouped everyone up instead. They've already gone ahead and got themselves control of the bomb site with just that one frag. You can see the CTs obviously will be setting themselves up very quickly towards short for this retake. The boost, though, will be... Okay, never mind. Shiro hits that shot somehow onto Lollipop, absolutely wrecking him. Now they kind of need to force the issue. They know there's 3 players on short. In theory, they could have pushed in towards Kitchen together to get that control, but they didn't really have themselves set up for it. So instead, Box tried to hold on. He's only able to do damage before going down, but MDS is the one who's fighting back with a couple of frags, keeping it in the 2-on-2 for now, as the bomb's still ticking away, and MDS is still fragging. He just doesn't care. Shiro's left alone. He's done what he could in this round with 2 kills so far, but that's going to be it for him. Backing away, so again, they'll have the op at least in this next round to work with. He could drop one. You can see Axel scrape together a buy. Nafany can buy for himself, so they can maybe go for this. Super could also just about scrape one together. I mean, they're down 9-2 already. Whether you do or you don't, you're in trouble no matter what, because if they did force and lose it, then obviously in the next round they could then be looking at pistols. If they don't, they're likely giving away a 10th to Nemiga, and yeah, it's a tough decision, so they're going to call the pause in to have a little bit of a chat.
Time to discuss whether it's worth risking, and yeah, 9-2 down. This is a position where you could go for it to try and pull it back and take 6 on the board, but at the same time, like you're saying, if you lose this one, well, you're pretty screwed. That's the game almost gone already. They go down to plus 2k, which is good. They'll be able to invest into the next round, still having pistols to contend with here, but Shiro has got to be the player to make a difference, and so far, he's definitely not living up to the expectations we set for him. Having a very rough time on that CT side AWP, but no more than the rest of the team, really. When you look over towards Nemiga, again, it's another surprise candidate up there. In the first map, it was JO dominating. Why have they just deagled themselves? Inters is being shot. That's unusual. Yeah, over towards Nemiga, it's not JO this time. He's not dropping 30 kills, but MDS is the one that's actually leading the charge in frags alongside the usual suspect of Lollipop, Shiro. Well, Shiro's also spotted them and stuck in aggressively, which was the surprising thing to me, but eventually he just backs off and plays towards the bomb site itself, actually in kitchen, and just allows JO to swing on him and take him down. He didn't think they'd have the balls to hunt him, but they absolutely did. And this round's already gone to hell.
I mean, it's very risky because you don't want to give the op the chances to get those opening kills, because that's exactly what they're looking for. And even without the op, the pistols, they are putting up a fight in this one. Box eventually says no, takes himself a quick double, which dropped very low in the meantime, but it shouldn't really cost him too much with Inters himself being left alone and already being low, as he himself creeps through that connector, smoking goes down. So there it is, 10-2, Nemiga on double digits. Again, we weren't expecting too much in that round, considering it was overall just a save. They spent what they could, but this is where they go on to the full gun round once again, and they need to pull back these remaining 3 if they want to have a half that at all is going to be salvageable, then moving on to their T side.
Dean, you know, knowing the Gambit youngsters guys, seeing them play at LANs and talking to them, they're pretty chill guys, right? They're not the kind of tilted CIS region you might imagine. But I'm pretty sure when Shiro died there would have been a B word that ends in at that was said out loud. That must be so annoying for him. He's got an op, his teammates have pistols, JO just W keys after him in apartments. And if you've got time later, guys, go back and watch that. Just pay particular attention to the timing. He could have been taken down by one on site, by one up in apps, or took to behind on the balcony, but he wasn't. Instead, getting the kill and really pulling them ahead in the round. The 1-for-1 trades early on. Nafany left on the bomb site by himself, shut down, just overwhelming it in numbers. Nemiga win every aim duel as well after the first. And Shiro, he's just bailing out. He doesn't want to be caught by JO running after him again. Look, he's looking backwards this time, just in case. You never know when a phantom JO is going to come around the corner.
Yeah, they're just being cautious, just in case. But yeah, again, forced to just back away and save. You can't fault them, but they need rounds. That's all they need right now. Round wins. Now their optimal score being 4 at the halftime, and even then that probably isn't going to look too likely. Well, I mean, 2 weapons being saved over. They definitely will be buying up this time. I'd imagine Axel can buy for himself. Inters and Nafani can then be dropped weapons by both Shiro and Supra, so they'll get what they can into this next round, but they're just looking completely outmatched. That's kind of been the case on all of their CT sides so far. Same can be said about Nemiga on their CT side, so who knows once they swap over, but we haven't seen a half being quite this dominant yet. If Nemiga can actually close it out 13-2, then I'd have to say I probably don't have very much faith at all in Gambit youngsters being able to pull it back.
Yeah, Dean, I don't think a lot of people do, really. I mean, Nemiga's T side, it's good. It's not this good, though. It should not be anywhere near as dominant a scoreline as what we're seeing on our screens. We know Gambit have struggled on the defense, but this is just a whole nother level. Shiro on the AWP really wants to get involved. He wants to get access. He's going to get a chance, but the flash, it blinded him just as MDS crossed. And as he hears the smoke go down, he knows there's a player on the top of middle. He pushes around the smoke to try and get an angle, but then quickly realizes he doesn't want to stay aggressive and falls back. With that, Nemiga grab themselves control of middle. Lollipop takes one and a double as well. And as if they weren't hurting enough, Dean, Lollipops just kicked them in the gonads. I don't think he even had support there, did he? Did someone flash from him? Looked like he just wide swung Palace and took 2.
Yeah, not that I know. That's kind of being Lollipop all game, though. He just hasn't given a single F. Absolutely 0 to give.
Frick.
Going forward, I mean, they've already got control around jungle and everything, so they really don't have to worry about crossing that bomb over. Smoke towards connector, giving them time to plant this securely as well. And they haven't actually decided to keep the jungle control, but obviously Gambit youngsters not realizing that are still holding back a little bit further, hoping that maybe they'd be given an opening, and with that could maybe move forward. But since it's not happening at this point, again, it is just a save, so they can try and have weapons in the final round of the half. But this is the last time they can save. The next one they will have to go for, and I mean, already conceding 12 rounds, I feel like this one's just probably done. I'm maybe being a bit pessimistic, considering we've already seen some pretty good comebacks, but we haven't seen one quite to this level as of yet.
Dean, I'm going to be with you on that. This is unbelievable. And the main issues are that you're seeing Lollipop dominate every single fight on those rifles. MDS and Box are having great games. Speedak hasn't done anything. He's got 5 kills. He doesn't need to. Not saying he has to step up. When we move to the CT side, though, he'll have a much more important role to play, and no doubt, considering how he's played this series, I'm sure he'll be able to deliver. I mean, things are looking bad for Gambit youngsters. To be down this much without Speedak being involved, and with Jo, the hero of map 1, basically on autopilot, this is not what you want. Oh, the trade goes through with the Molotov as well, though I think Speedak had him either way. Kicking himself, Box has got another kill instead of him. And a 4v4. As Gambit youngsters lose mid-control yet again. Supra quick to leave, especially with that flashbang. He's out of connector. And Nemiga have all the access that they wanted.
Yeah, no, they're very happy with that one-on-one trade, with the amount of mid-control they've now been able to find off the back of it. They're not too worried at all, giving themselves a lot of time as well to actually capitalize on it. Gonna boost one up in the window, I believe, which currently is, I believe, being spotted by Supra. He's in jungle, watching for it, but with the smoke down, it's given a little bit of room, at least for that player to get in there now. Perhaps be a nuisance later on once the actual commitment comes through, but he's actually posted up on the angle, waiting for the peek. Was expecting it perhaps to be from the right side, but no, eventually spots Supra in jungle itself, does a small bit of damage. And that was a wild re-peek from Supra. Despite being tagged up, he was willing to go for it. That leaves just Shiro towards this A side of the map. Playing passive with the op, he is going to get flashed and is not able to get back off the angle before he finds a bullet from Lollipop's AK.
MDS, look, there's no way you pre-fire that angle, but he fell off mid-spray. And it's just a fall back, though, as well. Jo swinging through to grab a trade, and with 2 players low, Inters maybe has 1% of a shot to go for this. No damage dealing utility, but MDS gives him the kill. They're just looking for stats at this point, really. Getting in there, getting the defuse. That looks incredibly unlikely, but he has to go for it. The final round of the half as he inches forward. The op misses the shot, nade through that he'd picked up, but it just doesn't matter. 13-2. That's about all that needs to be said about that one. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes for half number 2, but a quick break. See you after it. Hello, hello, das Verdania, 13-2. Nemiga, they're up by quite a bit, Dean, as we move on into the second half. On the CT side, if they win the pistol, I think we can already say RIP. And Gambit youngsters, they need this.
Yeah, it goes without saying. If they lose it, the map is pretty much over without them having any chances to get a proper gun round in. As they're going forward, MDS is not connecting those USP shots, so it has at least given them access to the bomb site and the ability to get that bomb planted in a pretty comfortable position with a nice little man advantage for themselves. Box tapping away, also not really able to connect any damage at all, so he will fall to the double peak that was coming in there alongside the P250 for the longer range. So this is actually looking pretty good for Gambit youngsters. They may be able to find themselves this lifeline. The retake is not looking great for Nemiga. So far, no opportunities being given over. Speedak eventually peeks in. Lollipop going to be able to find one as well. They did spot the player close kitchen, but it took them a little while to react to it, and that gave Inters the chance to go ahead and pounce on two. 3-13, as I said, a lifeline being found now for Gambit youngsters to try and fight back into this one, but it's still going to be a very long road ahead of them if they want to make that happen. And first of all, they have to overcome this force buy from Nemiga. You see the scout coming in, you see an MP9, a couple MP9s actually, and then a few pistols behind that as well. So it's not the greatest of buys, obviously, nothing like they'd be able to get if they were on the T side and had a bomb plant where you can, for some reason, pull out multiple rifles. But with how dangerous they've been so far throughout this map, you certainly can't count them out.
Well, especially when it's a CIS matchup, Dean. I mean, we see so frequently when it's Deagle rounds, they're the ones that are winning, but SMG's in play, a scout, this increases the chances even more. Gambit got to be careful, and Speedak's anything but rushing up through underpass and getting himself domed.
He'd been around there quite a while. I guess knowing he couldn't fall back through mid because of the control already being lost, so it was either try and challenge mid with an MP9 or challenge back through under with the MP9, which was probably the better of the two options, but didn't work for him. It is a man advantage for Gambit youngsters. A good start into this anti-force buy that they're currently up against. There's actually some good damage being done on Box as well. Being returned though with a scout, and even a second shot followed up. Box gets the headshot on the Shiro. Oh, this is getting a lot more scary, a lot scarier than it really should be. Fortunately, as they go on to B, there's no one there to defend. But that short jump being hit has given a quick rotation for MDS, and even an AK now in his hands. He has the Kevlar as well. Supra spots that rifle in play and doesn't want to risk taking the fight. Small bit of damage on the Inters, nothing too substantial, but they have already all grouped up. They have the weapons to work with as they go forward. The double peek from Gambit youngsters to at least ensure the trades are found. And yeah, now the 2-on-2 again, the weapons going back into favor in the T side. The time obviously now working in their favor. Lollipop gets the first with the MP9 though. That final player in kitchen now, Axel, he should be spotted as he comes out. And Box, having finally retrieved the AK, hits the headshot. I was looking over at him a moment ago and he was trying to find that. I think the E key wasn't working for him too well. Got it in time though to cover his teammate on the defuse, and Nemiga, they steal the force buy away.
Absolutely nasty, Dean. That's what we're talking about. You win the pistol, the second round isn't guaranteed. And Nemiga taking it, that's got to be a nail in the coffin for Gambit youngsters. Look at it. They don't have the ability to force buy back in the same way that Nemiga did. They had a scout, 2 SMGs, deagles, and armor. Gambit youngsters, it's only deagles and an AK very generously donated to Shiro. He's the one that's going to have to make it work. So far, though, Inters, I feel like, has been doing much better when it comes to rifling. Shiro taking a lot of damage on top mid, and that rifle is probably going to make its way to one of his teammates.
Not yet, apparently. No one beside him at the moment. As he makes his way back, I would imagine, as you said, that it will be traded out. This is such an important round that you need that AK in the hands of someone who is still healthy and can actually get the most done with it. And there you go, eventually going to be given over to Axile.
The one player with no head armor.
Yeah, not ideal, but it was better than the hands of, than being in the hands of Shiro. Maybe he's forgot himself that he doesn't have head armor. Might not really be thinking about that, I don't know. But let's see, can he do anything? MDS actually taking down a player elsewhere before that A push commences. Lollipop at least able to find one as well before being traded back on by Axel, who is still looking quite healthy. As you said, though, no helmet against the M4. That could be an issue. And he did actually get taken down in the background there, while Shiro, I believe, was the one who was jumping around trying to see if he could dodge bullets. That is not a mechanic in this game, though.
Yeah, Axel getting headshot by an M4. If only he had a helmet. Or one of his buddies had the AK. 15-3. I don't think it's going to make a difference who has what at this point. For Nemiga, it comes down to just pure chance they would win this game. If they turn their brains off and turn their aim on, they should be taking it. But they want to close it out as convincingly as possible. Give no room for Gambit youngsters to make that comeback happen. And towards the B site is where they're going to have to hold. The defense being tested. MDS with a deep nade. Well timed. Not that great of damage. MP9 in hand. The mollies running through them. Oh, they're being destroyed. Axile's done himself in with one.
1G.
This is not how we wanted things to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure how exactly that happened. Did he try to throw it out the window, I would imagine, just because of where it is? He definitely tried to throw it out the window. It hit a teammate, dropped down, and burned him alive. 100%. It is quite unfortunate, but yeah, this map is over. Inters actually gets jump peeked by the MP9 and dinked down. The flash then follows up alongside the re-peek to follow it as well, and there you have it. I mean, map 3, unfortunately, not going to be delivering quite like the first 2 maps of this series, as Nemiga go ahead and close it out very, very convincingly.